the gambling news nobody asked for, with our dear host, Dr. Desi.
Welcome back to the gambling news nobody asked for, the only show where gambling keeps reinventing itself, but somehow always ends up looking exactly the same. Tonight, Pennsylvania tries to regulate prediction markets instead of banning them. An alleged Israeli gambling ring discovers that extortion isn't great for public relations. Bulgaria says, keep the gambling ads, just pay us more taxes. Drake proves, once again, that his betting tips should come with a health warning. And New Jersey is asking whether betting on the next pitch, the next point, or the next 5 seconds might finally be a little too much. So, another week where gambling kept evolving and common sense tried to keep up. Let's begin. So, while everyone else is arguing whether prediction markets should be banned, Pennsylvania has another idea. What if we just regulate them? The proposal says prediction markets shouldn't disappear, they should simply play the same rules as everyone else. And honestly, that's probably the most controversial sentence in gambling this week. Because the moment someone invents a new way to bet on certain outcomes, everyone suddenly starts arguing about vocabulary. It's investing, it's forecasting, it's market participation. At this rate, I'm expecting financially enhanced guessing. The funny part is that nobody seems to disagree about what people are doing. They disagree about what to call it. And when an entire industry starts arguing over definitions, it's usually because the definitions matter. One of the easiest ways to influence people's decisions is to change the label. Psychologists call this the framing effect. The name changes, but the brain may respond exactly the same way. That's why, as psychologists, we always look beyond the words and focus on the behavior. And next, Israeli police have arrested 10 people accused of running an illegal gambling and extortion network. So not exactly a customer loyalty program. According to investigators, the group allegedly operated illegal gambling while threatening and intimidating people who owed money. It's always fascinating how organized crime takes something already designed to take your money and somehow makes it less ethical. They skipped the casino license, the responsible gambling messages, and went straight to the premium package. But here's the irony. Illegal gambling doesn't become legal just because it's organized. And legal gambling doesn't automatically become harmless just because it's organized. Fear is one of the strongest tools for influencing behavior. When people feel threatened, they're much more likely to make impulsive decisions, just to make the discomfort stop. And now, some news from my home country. Bulgaria has decided not to ban gambling advertising. Instead, the government wants higher gambling taxes. So basically, keep advertising, just pay more for it. It's a bit like saying, we're not taking away the cake, we're just charging extra for the bakery. Which raises an interesting question. If gambling advertising is considered harmful enough to deserve higher taxes, why isn't it harmful enough to deserve fewer advertisement? Apparently, the message is gamble responsibly as long as the tax payment arrives on time. Repeated exposure changes perception. The more often we see the same message, the more familiar and more acceptable it becomes. Psychologists call this the mirror exposure effect. And next, Drake has lost another bet. At this point, I'm not even sure he's betting or donating. The rapper reportedly placed another high-profile wager. And once again, the internet started talking about the Drake curse. And honestly, if Drake ever bets on a sunny day, I'm taking an umbrella. The strange thing is, people have started following what Drake bets on, just to do the opposite. Which might be the world's first gambling strategy based entirely on one celebrity. Psychologists call this illusory correlation. Our brains naturally look for patterns, even when events are completely unrelated. Sometimes, a coincidence repeated often enough starts feeling like a law. And finally, a campaign in New Jersey is calling for a ban on microbets. Microbets are bets that last just a few seconds. So apparently waiting for the final score was taking too long. You can bet on the next point, the next pitch, the next serve, basically the next opportunity to lose money. It's like fast food for your impulses. Because why spend 3 hours making questionable decisions when technology can help you do it every 15 seconds? The shorter the time between placing a bet and seeing the outcome, the faster the brain learns the behavior. That's why rapid forms of gambling are generally considered more psychologically intensive. So what have we learned today? We learned that changing the name doesn't necessarily change the behavior. That organized crime still believes there are easier ways to make money than honest work. That Bulgaria prefers to tax gambling before limiting it. That following Drake's betting slips has somehow become an investment strategy. And finally, that if gambling ever feels too slow, someone will always invent a faster version. I'm Dr. Desi. This has been the gambling news nobody asked for. See you next time.
Stay tuned, follow, and subscribe for more news nobody asked for.